was raised with the understanding that we all must leave the world a little better than we found it. And I took that responsibility to heart. As a kid, that meant cleaning up after myself and after others sometimes too. It meant going the extra mile when babysitting the neighbor kids. In addition to watching them, keeping them safe, my parents also told me to make sure that I tidy the kitchen, I pick up the playroom, and I do the unexpected. This also meant that we helped neighbors in need. We might shovel snow or rake leaves. On Halloween, my sisters and I would trick or treat for UNICEF, carrying little cardboard boxes and collecting coins and sometimes even bills for children in faraway places who didn't have access to food or medicine. It felt so good to give back. And this generosity became a part of my identity. It was who I was. Unexpectedly, our world changed when our mother passed away without warning at the age of 42. My dad was 44 and in the prime of his career. Now, he and my grandparents, they stepped up and they did much more than they ever expected they would need to take care of my sisters and me. But in the midst of this tragedy, something else happened. We were suddenly on the receiving end of generosity. We had women who didn't even know our mother step in to help. Now, it started the way you might imagine. It started with casseroles and extra carpool shifts, but it continued on. They gave my dad much needing parental guidance and coaching as he was raising 3 girls by himself. A favorite mother of mine is the neighbor mom who recognized that I was getting ready to go to my very first formal dance as a freshman in high school, and she took me shopping for a dress. And the dress we chose together was beautiful. That is PhD level generosity. Now, I hope these examples show you that when I talk about generosity, I'm not just talking about giving money, although that's really good too. I'm talking about giving your time, your talent, and your treasure. And what I know to be true is that generosity is the most powerful lever we have to change the world, and everyone can do it. It is this belief that has driven me to spend most of my adult life encouraging generosity around the globe. It's also why I was so discouraged when the most recent Giving USA survey came out, and we found that giving across virtually every category is down. Specifically, giving from individuals is down more than 13%. Worse, Give.org surveyed Americans who had recently stopped giving, and they asked why. More than 50% of the adults who responded said they stopped giving back because they thought someone else should. In this case, they thought wealthy people should give back, and they reasoned they had more money, therefore, they had more to give. Now, the belief that someone else should give and you should not, it diminishes your power and limits your capacity for happiness. This is misguided thinking. Let me explain. We are all inherently wired to be generous. When we give, 3 chemicals are produced in our bodies. Together, they make a sort of happiness cocktail. We get oxytocin, we get dopamine, and we get serotonin. Those three chemicals increase our bonds with others, our trust, it elevates our mood, and it makes us feel happy. As we look at the world around us today, we are surrounded by more problems, more disconnection, disagreement, and polarization. We certainly see this on the global stages. We also see it in our own country, in our own state, in our own cities, and even in our inner circles, our workplaces, our neighborhoods, and our families. Generosity can be the bridge to reconnection, and it can be what can help us to move past this. It isn't difficult. If we gather together, starting with our inner circles, men and women of different generations, a robust conversation will follow. Because in case you haven't noticed, men and women and every generation each seems to have very strong opinions on not just what the most pressing problems are, but how we should solve them. When you have this gathering of your inner circle, it's 3 really simple steps. Step number 1 is to understand. Talk about what causes are keeping each other up at night. When we start to understand the causes that we care about, and we ask and listen and share, we might learn why that family member cares most about protecting animals or helping those who are fleeing domestic violence or feeding the hungry. As we build that understanding, we start to strengthen and bring back those relationships that might be fractured. Step 2, connect. Look around your local communities. There are nonprofit heroes working every single day to solve those problems that you're most concerned about. And when you start to understand how they do what they do and what their impact is, you will be amazed. And that concern starts to morph into hope. Third, give. Give together. Now, you can choose whether, as a group, you're going to give your time, your talent, or your treasure. Honestly, I hope you give all 3. But when you give together, when you can join those nonprofit heroes as a part of the solution, things really start to change for you. Now, one act of generosity, one adventure with your family, your colleagues, your inner circle of people, it isn't going to keep those chemical boosts in your system for long. It's sort of like me saying, I'm going to go take a slow walk around the block because next week I'm running a marathon. It doesn't work that way. But the more we use our muscle of generosity, the more lasting the benefits become. What I challenge you to do is, as that muscle of generosity is growing, let's reimagine the word. Let's expand it to include a generosity of spirit, of assuming positive intent. When we do that, the world starts to open up. It's time to bring generosity into our dining rooms, our conference rooms, and our neighborhoods. Let's have the legacy we leave is that we made the world a much better place, and we did it together. Thank you.